Hello guys, my name is Audrey Mailer and I did my service learning project on a company called Grants Plus, and I'm going to be presenting my final service learning presentation. So some of the roles and duties that I had at Grants Plus was that I collaborated with people that worked there, and I helped proofread grants, and I also provided editing suggestions. I did a lot of collaboration with them, and I would meet with them and talk about what I saw and just kind of go over it with them. I definitely think that this project strengthened my leadership skills in a multitude of ways, and I'll be explaining that further throughout the presentation. But this is just sort of my intro, and I will get into the presentation now. Okay, so here's my service learning presentation, and I will be reading the slides but also going into more detail than the slides give. So, Grants Plus overview. Grants Plus is a mission-focused firm that provides nonprofits with the tools they need to thrive. They take a holistic approach to grant seeking, empowering organizations to grow and build sustainable funding relationships. Their grant writing experts help prepare competitive grant applications for federal, state, and local government funding agencies. And this is some of their values. They value accountability, bravery, adaptability, and partnership. Project goals. My project goals were to grow in my leadership abilities, strengthen my writing, editing, and proofreading skills, as well as preparing for the writing portion of a master's program and helping out an organization. So I will be starting a master's program soon in the summer or fall, and as you may know, writing is a large part of a master's program, so by doing this project, it helped me to prepare for that. And I also had to do a lot of writing to apply for that, so that helped me as well. And since this was volunteer work, I was able to just help out an organization on my own time and just help their company grow. Steps to achieve my goals. My duties for Grants Plus included proofreading grants and providing editing suggestions. This was rather stressful for me, as I do not consider myself good at these kinds of things. I proofread between 1 to 2 grants a week and provided editing suggestions. After doing this many times, I became a better writer and more confident in my ability to write, edit, and proofread. While doing all of this, it also helped me to prepare for the writing portion of my master's degree. So one thing that I found out while I was working for Grants Plus was surprising to me was how long grants are. I was so surprised, and honestly, grant writing is really, really hard, and I had no idea how hard it was. But I'm grateful for the experience because I think that gaining perspective is always important. Reflecting on my experience. I would say that this experience was a good one that made me a more well-rounded person. I learned better writing skills, I took on somewhat of a leadership role, I encountered uncomfortable situations which made me stronger and more prepared to be a leader in a future career. So some of the ways that it made me a more well-rounded person was I had to collaborate with people from Grants Plus, and I would basically have to proofread their grant and provide them with suggestions, which was very hard for me because I'm not good at proofreading or editing. I mean, obviously I was good enough to get the project, but I'm not amazing at it. And it's also very hard for me to be confrontational and just it was hard for me because I'm just a student doing a volunteer project, and they have been doing this professionally for a while. So speaking to them about my suggestions just didn't feel it felt kind of a weird position to be in. But I think being in those weird positions can really help you grow as a person, because it forces you to grow because you have to be uncomfortable to grow. And part of being a leader is first you have to grow to get to that point. And I'm not exactly sure what role I'll have when I have a future career, but at some point I would like to have a leadership role. So I definitely think that this helped with that. Leadership skills. I worked on my leadership skills by interacting with people in the company, reaching out to find this opportunity, and by being assertive when sharing my editing suggestions of the grants. I developed my active listening throughout this project since I had to collaborate with other individuals and hear their thoughts on things. Another leadership skill that I obtained was adaptability. I have never done this kind of work before, so I had to adapt. I struggle with adapting to new things, but I would say that this experience helped me. So, the 3 leadership skills that I gained was being assertive, growing my active listening, and growing and obtaining more adaptability. The biggest thing that I struggle with out of these 3 things is adaptability. I'm very I want something to be the way that it is. I don't really like change. It's kind of hard for me. So adapting to a different environment was definitely difficult in some ways, but like I said, I definitely think that those difficult and uncomfortable situations help us grow as people. So I'm grateful that I got some experience with that, because life is always changing, and with change you have to adapt. So I am really grateful for that experience. I also developed my active listening. A lot of the times when people talk to me, it's very tempting to want to talk over them, but I don't do that. But sometimes it's hard for me to listen. So I definitely did develop my active listening throughout this project as well. Career development impact. This helped develop my career. Sorry. Because it taught me better writing skills and leadership skills. I also had to confront uncomfortable situations. All of these things are stuff that I will have to do in my future career, so it helped me prepare and get some real-world experience. I think that this real-world experience is incredibly important because it helps me not just go on my computer and read lectures and go to class, but actually get hands-on experience with a potential future part of my career or component of my future career. I don't ever personally plan on being a grant writer, but whatever job I do, there will definitely be a writing component. So being able to get that experience now and get it in the real world is definitely helpful and important. Interview preparation. In future interviews, I will use this project to demonstrate my writing abilities and experience. I will use this project to demonstrate my active listening abilities, since I had to collaborate with people and see what they thought. I will use it to demonstrate my assertiveness. I will use it as a unique experience that not many other candidates have to help set me apart. So that's something I do also need to talk about, was being assertive throughout this project. Reaching out to companies to find a service learning opportunity was kind of scary, and I'm not very comfortable with reaching out and asking for stuff from people. So it was definitely a level of assertiveness that I'm not really familiar with. So by doing this project, I definitely grew my skills in that area. And another thing is, this was definitely a very unique experience that not many other candidates have. throughout all my college years, I haven't done a class like this, and I don't know very many people that have. So doing like just like a, a small volunteer project, that was like up to my own choice of what I wanted to do. I think that's a very unique experience, and I think that having that unique experience is definitely like a cool thing to get to say at interviews and be like, yeah, I did that. So I'm really grateful for that experience. So that is wrapping up my service learning project. I will explain some of the visuals real quick. I did already explain that one. This is just a picture of grants. If you don't know what grants are, it is money that you get from an organization. And essentially, by writing a grant, you're basically writing a request to ask for money. And reflection, there's not really much to say about this photo. But the biggest takeaway that I got from this project was learning to be a leader and learning to be assertive, as well as deal with uncomfortable situations. Throughout life, we're always going to have to deal with uncomfortable situations, so I'm grateful to get some experience and be able to use it to my benefit. Thank you for listening to me talk about this. I really appreciate your time today, and I wish everybody luck in their future careers.